Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm reading 7th standard English textbook. Let's get started. A forest the river. Between the boy and the river stood a mountain. The boy was young and the river was small, but the mountain was big. The thickly forested mountain hid the river, but the boy knew it was there. He had never seen the river with his own eyes, but from the villages he had heard of it, of the fishes in its water and of its rocks. He wished to test the water and know it personally. He stood front of his house on the hill opposite the mountain. He gazed across valley, dreaming of the river. He was about 12 years old, a steadier boy with untidy black hair and shining black eyes. He had fine feature, a clear brown skin, but his hands and feet were rough and scratched. He was barefooted, not because could have afford for shoes, but because he liked to feel of warm stones and cool grasses. It was 11 o'clock, he knew, would not return till evening. There was a loaf of bread he could take with him, and on the way he made for find some fruits. He were the opportunity he had waiting for. His mother and father had gone to visit relatives for and had left him on his own. Him his own. If he came home before dark, before they returned, they would not know where he'd not been. He went into the house and wrapped a loaf of bread in newspaper. Then he closed all doors and windows. The path to drop steeply into valley. The roses and went round big mountain. It was frequently used by the villagers, the woodcutter, milkman, and multivers. But there were no villages beyond the mountain or near the river. The boy passed a woodcutter and asked him how far it was to the river. The woodcutter was short, powerful man with creased and withered face and muscles that stood out. He had ugly limbs. 7 miles, he said, which was fairly accurate. Why do you want to know? I'm going to the river, said the boy. Alone? Of course. But it was so too far. It will take you 3 hours to reach there, and then you have come back. Be getting dark. Besides, it is not an easy road. But I'm a good walker, said the boy. Thought he had never walked further than the miles from his house to his school. The path was steep and the boy had run most of the time. It was a dizzy, winding path and he slipped once or twice. The hill was covered with lush green ferns. The tree were wood with creeper, and the great wild dahlia suddenly reared in gold head from the leaves and ferns. Soon the boy was in the valley, and the path straightened out and rose. He met a girl who was coming from the opposite direction. She held a long carved knife with which she had been cutting grass. The bangle she wore made music when she moved her hands, and it was a tough. The hands spoke a language of their own. How far it is to the river? Asked the boy. The girl had obviously never been to the river, or she may have been thinking of another one, because she said 20 miles without any hesitation. The boy laughed and ran down the path. A parrot suddenly screeched, fell over his head. A flash of red and green. The bird disappeared amongst the trees. A trickle of water came from the hillsides, and the boy stopped to drink it. The water was cold and sharp, but very refreshing. However, it seemed to have the effect of making him more thirsty. The sun was striking his side of the hill, and the dusty path became hotter. The stones scorching the boy's feet. He was sure he had gone halfway. He had walked for an hour. Presently, he saw another boy ahead of him, driving a few goats down the path. How far is the river? He asked. The village boy smiled in a friendly way and said, "Oh, not far, just round the next hill and straight down." The boy, feeling angry, unwrapped his loaf of bread and broke into halves, offering one portion to the village boy. They sat on the hillside and ate in silence. When they had finished, they walked on together, began talking and talking. The boy did not notice the smarting of feet and the heat of the sun and the distance he covered and the distance he had covered. But after some time, his companion had gone to diverge along at the another path, and the boy was once on his. He missed the village boy. He could not be seen. His own home was alone, hidden from view by the side of the mountain. The river was not signed. Heather began feel discouraged. He was sorry he had finished the bread. He made one it later. It was determined to see the river. He walked on along the hot, dusty, stony path past muddy hut were 10 feet. And there were no more fields or huts, only forest and sun and loneliness. Now there was no man or any sign of man influence, only trees, rocks, and purple flowers. Only silence. The silence was impressive, a little frightening. It was different from of silence room or street. It was the silence of space, of the unknown, the silence of God. Then, as the boy rounded a sharp bend, and the silence broke into sound. Suddenly, a roar sound, the sound of the river far down in the valley. The river tramped over rocks. The boy gasped and began to run. He slept to trembled, but still he ran. He slipped. Still he ran. Then he was ankle deeply in painful cold mountain water, and the water was blue and white and wonderful. When you like this video, please like my video and subscribe my channel. It's for now. That's all. Thank you. We will see next video. Bye bye.